How every team in the NBA could win a championship in 2024 Eastern Conference Edition. Today we're suspending disbelief and spreading some positivity. So no matter how bleak your favorite Eastern Conference team's chances of winning a championship truly are in 2024, I'm here to tell you exactly what needs to happen to make that happen. Like and subscribe, please. We'll start in the Central Division with the Milwaukee Bucks. A Dame Lillard resurgence, becoming the most dominant duo in basketball alongside perennial MVP candidate Giannis Antetokounmpo. Sprinkle in a little bit of injury luck, and it's not exactly that far-fetched to see the Bucks hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the season. After all, their incredibly disappointing season last year was still the 3 seed in the East, and while the conference was getting better, it's still not the gauntlet that the West is, and it would take a disaster of epic proportions for this year to go any worse than last year from a vibes perspective with this team. For the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton really is an MVP candidate. Hallie had a stretch last year before the injury where first-team All-NBA seemed like a highly likely outcome of his season. If he can sustain that for a full season while taking full advantage of his new running mate Pascal Siakam, the Pacers could easily be back in the conference finals, but instead of being the surprise 6 seed, they're a true contender who wins it all. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland bounces back after last year being derailed by a broken jaw, and the new coaching staff teaches him and Donovan Mitchell how to move off the ball. Evan Mobley takes an offensive leap, and Isaac Okoro grows 3 inches. All joking aside, while it's hard to imagine this Cavs team having everything come together for a championship, it's not that hard when you break them down individually, well, mostly. Darius Garland really did break his jaw last year and have an all-liquid diet for like a month. He lost a bunch of weight, and he just really wasn't the same guy when he came back. It's not hard to imagine having a full offseason for him to get his body right results in him having a better year next year. Their new head coach, Kenny Atkinson, is also coming from the Warriors system, which is the gold standard for guards moving off the ball. And Evan Mobley shot 37% from 3 last year, on low volume, but it's not crazy to think that he could develop more with the new staff in place and just his age 23 season. Now, Isaac Okoro isn't getting any taller, but the rest in a vacuum could actually happen. The question is whether it could all happen at once. The Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddey is actually Magic Johnson reincarnated, but we didn't get to see it playing next to an MVP candidate in SGA. Also, Zach LaVine goes on a Last Dance-inspired revenge tour, becoming Michael Jordan for 6 months before demanding a trade in the offseason because he's sick of being talked about as a toxic negative asset. Now that he has a ring, that contract is fully justified. The Detroit Pistons. Eminem buys the team and promises every NBA player who thinks they can rap a record deal if they demand a trade to Detroit. All of a sudden, the Pistons are trotting out guys like Dame Lillard, Kevin Durant, and Anthony Edwards instead of Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. Moving to the Atlantic Division, starting with the Boston Celtics. Time turners exist in the Muggle world, and they can just turn it back to relive last year, exactly the way that it went. The Philadelphia 76ers. Paul George and Joel Embiid apologize to whoever they have wronged in their past that is currently in possession of voodoo dolls in their likeness and is ensuring that they experience regular season injuries and underperforming in the playoffs. Exercising those demons should allow for this new Big Three to live up to their talent when the games matter most and raise a banner in Philly. The New York Knicks. The questions in the front court come to a clear and positive resolution. The Knicks are now stacked at positions 1 through 4 on the court. They have depth and versatility across the board at those positions. They can go super small, they can go super long, they can surround Brunson with shooters, and they can surround him with defenders. And they can interchange amongst all of those things. The biggest question mark is how Julius Randle fits into that equation, based on how little Tibbs has been willing to play him at center to date. If he does play center, can he hold up defensively? And if he doesn't, can they get enough at that spot without Hartenstein? The rest of that roster seems to fit pretty solidly into title contender status, so answering their center question should equal championship. The Brooklyn Nets. A meteor comes barreling toward Earth, and before it makes impact, it splits off into 29 pieces that blast the team facilities of everyone else in the NBA, not injuring any people, but causing enough damage that they're all forced to forfeit their seasons, allowing the Nets to win by default. The Toronto Raptors. Scotty Barnes is actually generational. Rookie of the Year and an All-Star appearance in 3 years is a pretty darn good start to an NBA career. But for this Raptors team to hang a banner, it has to be because OG and Siakam were holding back his potential so much that now with a full season with them off the roster, he's able to make the kind of leap we only see in sports movies made for children, where the protagonist breaks his arm, giving him the ability to pitch over 100 miles an hour, or wearing an old pair of beat-up sneakers is going to give you the talent of Michael Jordan. Moving to the Southeast, starting with the Orlando Magic. Franz Wagner takes a leap to a dominant point forward role while everyone else progresses around him. And it's not that unrealistic to believe it could actually happen. The Magic are young enough that growth like this is totally within the realm of possibility. They filled a big need that they had in the shooting department with KCP without losing their defensive identity. Paolo is already a star and could easily keep getting better. I think the X factor is Franz. If he breaks out as a hub of the offense and they can get the defense and shooting around him and Paolo, they could definitely compete in the East and have real title hopes. The Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler drinks from the fountain of youth and becomes playoff Jimmy for the entirety of an NBA season, while Bam Adebayo proves the glimpses of corner three-ball shooting he flashed in the Olympics are real and everyone else on the roster is fully healthy and good all year long. Or they trade for LeBron James to come back to Miami without giving up anyone. The Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young competes on defense and becomes an MVP candidate, proving that all he really needed was for the DeJounte Murray experiment to come to an end so that he could go back to dominating every possession of every game like he did when they went to the conference finals. Also, Jalen Johnson gets even better, faster than anyone could have ever guessed and solidifies himself as an All-NBA forward, and the two become the most dynamic tandem in basketball history. The Charlotte Hornets. Steph Curry demands a trade to his hometown team. He teaches LaMelo Ball how to channel his powers for winning basketball while not getting hurt, and Brandon Miller becomes the best 3-and-D wing on the planet. The Washington Wizards. Body swapping is a real thing, and all their best players take on the form of the best player they've ever played with on other teams in their career. Kyle Kuzma becomes 2020 LeBron James, Jordan Poole becomes 2022 Steph Curry, Bilal Coulibaly becomes Victor Wembanyama. I think you get the point. And there you have it, how every Eastern Conference team could win a championship in 2024. I hope you had fun with that, and let me know in the comments who you think has the best chance to win. And while you're down there, go ahead and like the video so that YouTube knows that it doesn't suck. Subscribe to the channel so that I know you want me to keep making more of them. And while I'm busy making more of them, go ahead and watch this one.